Welcome back to Wealth Mavericks, the podcast where we help doctors unlock the secrets to building generational wealth. And today we're talking about the importance of mindset, especially when going through hard times.
You can suck, but you can't skip. So show up for yourself no matter what. I'm going to show up for myself and do something in the direction that gets my goals to where they want to be no matter what.
Welcome back to Wealth Mavericks. We're so glad you're here. I'm excited to be joined by Megan Avesta today. It's been a minute since you've been on the podcast, Megan.
Yes.
Megan serves a very wide member base at Terra Firma and works on our funds. So I haven't been able to get on the podcast lately, but you're here. I'm so glad. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me, Erin. I've been missing our time together. We talk about such great things on here and love helping our members from the podcast perspective too.
Love it. Glad you're here. So you brought this topic up and I love it because we talk so much about mindset here, the mindset shifts that are needed to play the game differently, the importance of having a vision. But you brought up the importance of mindset when it comes to going through really hard times. I know you studied neuroscience in college, and now, like we said, you serve a lot of our members. And I have some of these too, but I feel like you have even more where they're going through something really tough and we're walking alongside them through it, whether it is separation or divorce or business challenges or a health scare. And so today we're going to talk about the power of our brains in getting us through these times. So talk to me about your own experience with walking through hard times.
Absolutely. So, Erin, you're so right. We have a lot of members that are going through it. And the holidays for some of us is a really exciting and wonderful time. For others, it's a reminiscence on great memories of people that they might have lost, or on good health, or on relationships that are challenged. So, this is something we speak to with our members in our 510s, where we check in on these key areas of life. To be a whole person, you have to have a spiritual side, you have to have fitness and health, you have to have family or some kind of loved ones that you share your experiences with. And then, of course, business and financial is a part of that too. Now, the one thing I've noticed with a lot of our members, they are going through difficult times right now. And the most difficult thing for them isn't necessarily the time that they're going through. It is their mindset on the experience that they're having. And when you're caught, like the best way to put this is when you're caught, let's say in a river and you're in the river, it's hard to see outside of that water. And a lot of people, they're experiencing all of the emotions and the turmoil that comes with hard lifetimes. So when it comes to the perspective shift that I'm challenging our members with, and this is something that really applies to neuroplasticity in the brain and how the brain works and how we can generate new neurons to create new connections and create new experiences in our life, is I'm challenging them to concentrate on the good and to have this mindset of everything happens to me for my benefit. No matter what it is, no matter what challenge it is, no matter what moment you're put through. And I think a lot of our members going through these hard times, they're in the river. They are not over the bridge. They're not staring down from the bridge, looking at themselves going through this experience. I am. I'm on the bridge and I'm looking down saying, I'm so sorry you're going through this. Let me pull you out. Here's my hand. And I think a lot of our members are just truly going through that right now. And the mindset is interesting because I know through my own personal life experience, you too, Erin, like we've both been through things throughout our life challenges, loss of a loved one, loss of physical health, loss of all sorts of things in this life. This life can be quite difficult. So when it comes to really getting out of that, I like to look back on past experiences. And I think that we've all gone through challenges that have made us who we are today. They make us better people if we embrace them, we absorb them, we, become the tenacious person that we are. Now, it also creates a really interesting personality for some people. I love to see challenges really shape our personality and who we are. But when it comes to, these difficult situations, like I said, I like to look back. And when I look back, not many people know this about me, but I suffered a chronic illness for most of my life. I was told I wouldn't live past 21, and I'm over here past 30. So it's safe to say they were wrong. But it comes down to, for me, the mindset I had about health, the mindset I had about feeling better. So when we're looking at health from that lens, my doctor, my most recent physician that I work with, Dr. Taylor, he is, oh gosh, the man. For him specifically, the first thing he had me do before he helped me cure myself of all of the things they said were uncurable was reading a book on your mindset. Your mindset is everything. The belief that something can get better is everything. Um, you can apply it to, life experiences of losing a loved one. We've had quite a few members who have had loved ones pass throughout this past year. And instead of simmering in that pain, which it's of course important to face it. You don't want to just bury every feeling that you have, but to face it with the memory of, God, what a blessing it was to be able to feel sad for missing this great person. And that I got to build those memories and have those moments with them. Um, some people don't. Some people don't ever experience love like that. So the challenge that I have for not just for our members, but for everyone out there is, what is your mindset on difficult times? And if you're going through a difficult time right now, I challenge you, even just for a week, to, instead of absorbing all of the negativity that goes along with the life's challenge, shift your mindset. Even if you're a little delusional, even if you're going through your day pretending, okay? Pretending with smiles, saying, I'm fantastic, everything's great. No matter what you do, you will see a difference if you just exert those positive actions and behaviors. And one of those things is, with existing pathways in the brain, a lot of people don't know this, but with repetition and effort, you can actually strengthen your existing neural pathways relating to that desired thought or pattern or behavior. So when it comes down to it, whatever you focus on, you enhance in your own life. So for you, Erin, I know you've done a lot of this, like in your own personal world. When it comes to focusing on what matters, what differences have you seen in your life and your members and the people in your world?
I think that as humans, we default to the negative. It's like we're
Yeah.
programmed that way in order to survive, and we haven't evolved enough to catch up to this more comfortable life that we live in now. But I try to teach my kids that it's like, just because a thought comes into your mind doesn't mean that's you, and doesn't mean you have to give life to it.
So
The
true.
power of our minds is one of the most important powers that we have. And I think so many people just don't even understand it. They are a victim of their own thoughts. When you can, that's biblical too, like take captive and make it obedient. And so I have worked for many years to create a more positive mindset, not like toxic positivity, like not giving, yes, bad things happen. You have to sit in the sadness sometimes, but the quicker you can get through it, the only way through it is through it. And just
So true.
realizing the inevitable, that life comes with peaks and valleys. You're not always going to be up on a peak. Enjoy it while you can. But when you're in the valley, just keep going. And I teach my kids too, or try, that like literally, I mean, it's science. Every cell in our body listens to our thoughts. And so if you are just dwelling on the negativity and what's wrong and what hurts and what didn't go my way, it's like your whole body is responding to that. But if instead there's always so much to be grateful for. It sounds trite, but it is so true. Look at the positive. And I think the biggest thing is, and I just talked with a member about this yesterday, and she really thinks like us, and I love it. Um, you can, in every moment, like we work on being present. Right now is all we have. This moment is all we have. But we can either let what has happened before, our past, drag us down. We can make ourselves miserable by arguing with reality and saying, I wish things weren't this way. Well, they are. Like, control what you can control. Instead of letting the past drag you down, let the vision of a better future pull you forward. And I think that's something that I've gotten so good at. And this came up because in our final 5 10s of the year, I've been asking, when we have this conversation a year from now, and I ask you, or you tell me 2026 was the best year of my life, what has happened? What do you see has happened? What are you reporting back to me? And she was so quick to say, this, and this has happened. Like she's always been so good at just setting those intentions. And she told me all these stories about things that have just transpired in her life because she saw them first. And I know you and me are so good at that. And so it's like, if you are in the depths of despair with a divorce or financial ruin or whatever it is, what is the ideal version of you look like? Who has gotten through that? Who has made things better? Feel those feelings, see what that is like, and that will propel you forward. And so I
So
just
true.
think casting that vision and living in it each day will pull you out of the hard that you're in.
It will. And a lot of times people don't realize this, but you have to live in that state of delusion on occasion to get out of these difficult times. And I think what's so interesting about what you said, which most of it was, but really stuck out to me, is what you tell yourself. And when we think about what we tell ourselves, a lot of times our thoughts, even on ourselves, are so negative. We are our worst enemy. And what people need to realize, and what all the viewers out there need to realize, is you should be your biggest fan. You should love yourself more than anyone else loves you, maybe other than Jesus. But when it comes down to it, we want to build out the perfect life for us through the love that we have for ourselves. So there's a lot that goes into the thought process behind strategy for that. So I know one thing that made a big difference for me. One, it was an Audible, which I'll share. I'm not a gatekeeper, and no, I do not get any kind of kickbacks from them. I just love them. Second is going to be something that's surrounding a practice that I incorporated in my day to day life. So one, The Magic by Rhonda Byrne, changed my life. It's an Audible. They have a written book, but if anyone is familiar with The Secret, it's an alignment, similar book. But the magic is applicable practice to The Secret. So a little woo woo for some people, but still very interesting. There is science and neuroplasticity behind these effects and the effects on lives, the effects on your reality and your perception of reality. And then, second to that, is going to be saying something to yourself every day at night. And for me, it's something wonderful is going to happen to me tomorrow. And I never know what it will be. I'm okay with that. I don't need to know what it will be, but something wonderful is going to happen to me tomorrow. And if you start practicing that and saying that to yourself every night, you wake up the next day and the parking spot will be open. You'll wake up the next day, and for some of our members who are physicians, surgeries perfect. Every single case perfect. Sometimes it's dinner arrived at your door, or you got a gift in the mail or a check in the mail. You never know what it will be, but just know blessings are on the horizon because you believe they are on the horizon. So my challenge for our members is believe in what you want. The rest can quite literally be a facade in your world. And when it comes to facing challenges head on, really consider the best possible outcome and know that every outcome, every situation moves to your benefit. And if you have faith in that and you believe in that, you'll find you can move mountains in your own mind and in your own life by default.
So good. I live by that philosophy that that you more than not get what you expect in life. So when you expect little, you get little. When you expect a lot, you get more. When you ask for more, you get more. We cannot always control the circumstances, but we can control our level of expectation and hope and vision. And so, like, what is more worthy of our time than that, our mental energy than that? And you said, like, we have to be our own biggest fan. I, not to toot my own horn, I think that's one of my best qualities is I
Yeah.
am my own biggest fan. My thought life is on point. Life is not always easy. Like this life comes with challenges. We all know that. But when you can literally show up in the day and be like, I got this. I got this one step at a time. Like, I love this about, like that just comes off. Confidence is the most attractive quality in another
Yes.
human. And that's who people want to follow. Like if you're you're a leader in your home, you're a leader at your work, you're a leader even in your friendships. Like you can inspire people by how you show up. And that can be really hard when you're going through a difficult time. But you can't control that, but you can control how you show up in it. So
Right.
before
And
oh,
go ahead,
keep going.
Erin.
No, I just know that we have another thing and we wanted to keep this one kind of brief. But I do want to talk a little bit about 510, but you say what you're going to say.
Yeah. So my last tidbit is going to be a tip and pointer from one of my billionaire role models, a friend who actually became a billionaire without being a total jerk, which most of them do not do that. So he has this focus for himself personally in his day-to-day life that he applies to everything, and it comes down to showing up for himself. And his quote that he shares, and you might be able to look it up and find out who this person is you can suck, but you can't skip. So show up for yourself no matter what. You might say, I'm going to read this novel this week. You at least have to open it up and read one page, but you don't have to read the novel. Let's see you show up for yourself no matter what. You say, I'm going to run 10 miles. Well, I don't feel like it. I'm sick. I'm going to run at least a mile. I'm going to show up for myself and do something in the direction that gets my goals to where they want to be no matter what. And if you do that, you will find you'll begin to build these habits, and then you'll build upon these habits, and slowly but surely you will hit your goals. If you wind yourself out of the habit of actually doing something, gosh, it's hopeless, because so many people, they say, I'm going to do this thing, and they do not do that thing literally for years. So it comes down to instilling the habit, taking small steps to get there. And that's actually a lot of what we do in our 5 10s practice, is like, what small step can we take towards the direction of our goals? So Erin, what do you think in 5 10s really makes the difference for our members?
It's just having that space each month that you're going to have time to reflect and give account of where you've been spending your time in the most important areas of life. And when you say, and we do the 5 10s with Joe, our coach, and I know that I hate showing up to one of those. When I told Joe a couple weeks ago that I was going to do this thing, and then for whatever reason, it didn't happen. That doesn't happen that often, but it has happened. And he is like, no excuses. Like, because I feel like every time we show up for ourselves, it increases our confidence. It increases our momentum. Every time that we're making an excuse or it doesn't happen, it erodes our confidence. And then our brain doesn't believe us next time we say we're going to do something. So you have to create those patterns in your own life to prove to yourself that you are a person of your word. And then it just snowballs from there. You can be snowballing in one direction or the other, and there's always a choice. So
Right. It's true. And what gets measured gets managed. We always say that. You'll probably find that on like 6 or 7 or 8 of our podcast episodes. It's the truth. If you don't measure it, how will you ever manage it? Life is too crazy. We have too much going on. Successful people are busy. They're successful in their personal lives. They're successful in their professional lives and their financial lives. How do you find time for the rest? You have to measure it. You have to focus on it.
I've learned so many things from Joe, as I know you have, and that is one of my favorite things that he says. What gets measured gets managed. I actually think maybe the three of us should do another episode on that specifically, and what data we track in our own lives and the impact that has. Let's do that. So for now, we're going to wrap this one up. Megan, it was great to have you back on the podcast. Thank you for everything you shared.
Thank you for having me, Erin. This was wonderful. Let's do it again.
Let's do it. Doc, thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed. Join us next time. Maybe we'll be back. And until then, go be a Wealth Maverick.